Very good morning. Am I audible? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we just wait 2 minutes more. Some of the face are saying the first time, like a 12 number, 47. 12 number, are you there? Anomaly number 12. Getting the PPT on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think this is the last lecture of this particular syllabus, and the last topic we discuss about the load matching and using the Smith chart, how we can match the load impedance versus the any kind of your transmission line impedance. So these are the some of the example where you can add some network using some different methods which may be utilized for the matching with respect to ZL and Z0. So on your screen you can easily see the Z0 is the transmission line impedance, which is the characteristic impedance, and the ZL is nothing but a load impedance. By obvious, whatever the impedance of the transmission line impedance and which is not similar to the ZL, you can take the example of your antenna, any antenna which is utilized in a day-to-day life, which is not similar to whatever the wire which is connected over there, what are the feeder cable you are connected. Okay, so you can take this example. So in this case, they are taken the 50 ohm, it's transmission line impedance, and the load impedance is the 75 plus J20 ohm. So you can see the one of the Z0 have a only real components, but your load have a some complex number, because at the receiver side you are also getting the so many processing unit which can process your data. So which is by default it's a complex number. So if you find out the overall impedance which is mentioned over, it's a 75 plus J20 ohm, which is the complex number. So you can see these two value both are not the same. So if we are not same, it will be chances for the reflection. and because of the reflection, the maximum power cannot be converted from the either maybe electrical to electromagnetic or maybe any another phenomenon. So you require some kind of a circuit which is nothing but some matching circuit. So we are inserted some new circuit which may be utilized for the matching between these two impedance. So this matching circuit is nothing but either you can use the different wires, either you can use the stubs, or either you can use the transformer matching, or you can use the balloons. There are so many techniques which may be utilized for the matching circuit over here. So these are some different matching network. You can utilize some kind of a lumped elements for the network, but the lumped elements only work with a lower frequency. Like you are working with some frequency which only the 1 megahertz. Then you can add some elements which are the RLC components, RLCNG, which is nothing but a lumped elements. So we are inserted the RLCG, but you should know what is the connection between RLCG. Your R is series or your R is parallel, L or maybe C, which is series or maybe a parallel connection. So any possible combination should be required to find out the matching, and the value of this RLCG, it's very important. So based on the Smith chart, you can also find out the value of the lumped elements which may be required for the matching network. Same way you can use the lump T as well as the pi network. Later on discuss this T and pi. You are seeing the some circuit where you can insert the some components, and using this one you can also match some kind of a matching network. But the first two, which is only required for the low frequency application. The third one, which is another distributed network, which have at least three main technique which can be utilized for the matching for the high frequency application, especially for the frequency which may be beyond the 500 megahertz. You can use this kind of a technique, and the network which is considered a distributed network. So the first technique, which is nothing but a lambda by 4 transformer. Lambda by transformer doesn't mean that we are inserted the transformer. Whatever the transformer we are seeing in a real world, we are not inserted the transformer. The meaning of the lambda by 4 transformers is slightly different over here. Okay. Second technique is the single stubs tuner, and the third technique is the double stubs tuner. Stub, it's similar to the transmission line, but the length of the stub, it's very small compared to the transmission line. Remember it. Stub, it's similar to the transmission line, but the length, which is quite small compared to the transmission line. So you can consider the stub is nothing but some kind of a wire. So you can see the figure where you can easily identify the different matching network. The first figure from the left hand side, which is mentioned with some kind of a yellow color, boxes are there. So this is some kind of a T as well as the pi network. This kind of a circuit which is nothing but some T as well as the pi network. So what they are doing, you can see we are inserted some kind of a T, or you can consider the second figure is nothing but a pi network, which have some R, L or C, which is either series or maybe a parallel connection. So considering the overall impedance, which is nothing but either Jx or Jb, which is nothing but some complex number. So either you can use the component which is the LNC or the CLL. The reason is if you are using the R is basically some resistance. Okay. So if you are inserted some resistance either in a series or maybe a parallel, there is also some voltage drop over here. So if there is a voltage drop over here, maximum power you cannot convert it. Okay, but you can use the combination of the RL or RC, whatever the box you can see over here, JX or JB. So that's why you can see both the components are in a complex number. But you cannot use the single value of the R, because R is the real values, like a 10 ohm, 100 ohm, 50 ohm. You can choose any value which is nothing but a real values. But if I use the combination of the RL or RC, then you can have some complex number. So that's why the first figure you can see have a transmission line have a characteristic impedance Z0, load impedance is ZL, and we are inserted some JX and JB by using the LNC components. So these are the extra elements we are added either in a T form or either in a pi form. So this is called the lumped T as well as the pi network. Second figure you can see, which is the below to this yellow boxes, where it's a lambda by 4 is mentioned. This is called the distributed lambda by 4 transformer matching network. I just repeat it. This is the lambda by 4 transformer matching network. Okay. Transform matching is nothing but we are not inserted the transform, but we are inserted the lambda by 4 length of your wire. Suppose you are operating this whole, the frequency of the transmission is like a 1 megahertz. So according to the 1 megahertz, you can find out the lambda, and according to the lambda, you can find out the lambda by 4. So this much wire we are inserted between Z0 and RL. Clear? So this is called the lambda by 4 or the quarter wave transformer matching network. I just repeat it. It's a lambda by 4 quarter wave transmission line matching network. Okay. So we are just inserted the wire in a series and the wire length is fixed, which is the lambda by 4. Yeah. Wire length is fixed, which is the lambda by 4. So it may be question, why we are taken the lambda by 4? Any answer from your side? Why not lambda by 8? Why not lambda by 2? Why the any other values? Why only the lambda by 4 over here? Reason is, if you consider the one sine wave, so for complete one sine wave, your distance is from 0 to it's a lambda. And at a lambda by 2, it becomes a first half cycle. Okay. And at a lambda by 4, it becomes a maximum one. It becomes a maximum one. So suppose you are started with some 0 degrees. So at a specific lambda by 4 distance, you are reaching at a maximum value of the signals. Clear? If I'm setting the lambda by 2, definitely it will be reaches to the 0. So that's why according to the signals, you are changing the length of the wire. Suppose you are operated for the 1 megahertz, this lambda by 4 value is slightly different. If I'm operating at say 20 megahertz, definitely the lambda by 4 length is different. So for individual frequency, you have to change this lambda by 4 transmission line length, which is called the quarter wave transformer. So this is the first technique. Second technique you can see, which is in right hand side above figure, right hand side topmost figure, we are inserted some wire, which is the parallel combination, which is nothing but some parallel combination. This is called the stub. This is called the single stub. I'm just moving the mouse over here. You can consider this is the single stub. And you can see there is a one another figure which have a two parallel wire we are inserted, which is the double stub. Here it's a double stub. So these are the called the stub matching technique, single stub as well as the double stub. Stub is nothing but a what? We are inserted the wire between your transmission line and your load impedance. Clear? And for the double stub, we are inserted the two wires simultaneously for the matching. Let us discuss why the two wires required. But you have two options. Either you can insert the wire which is in a series, or either you can insert the wire which is in parallel connection. Okay. So parallel as well as the series wire is also there, and at the same time it becomes a short circuit as well as the open circuit. So you can see we are inserted the some wire, but if wire is in a complete full loop, then it is considered a short circuited part. But suppose if I make it the open means only you are inserted the two wire, but both the wire look like a open one. They are not directly connect with each other. So that's why you can see either double stub or the single stub, there is a one dash line is there. This dash line is indicate if it is a short circuited, then it is a complete path. And is the open circuited, these two wire they are not connected. It becomes a simple parallel wire which is the open connection. And same way we are inserted the wire open as well as the short, but in a series connection. So in a right hand side, the bottom one, there is a figure is given which is nothing but a series connection. Series connection, it may be a parallel, it may be a sorted, or it may be open connection. Okay, so for the one particular load impedance, you have so many solutions are there. Either you can use transformer matching, either you can use the single stub, either you can use the double stub, and single stub have an open circuit as well as the short circuit connection. So depending upon your requirement, you can use any one of the technique. Okay. Now you can see this is the quarter wave transformer. Whenever the ZL and Z0 both are not matched, what they are using, they're adding some lambda by 4 wire. You can see the lambda by 4 wire inserted between this transmission line as well as the ZL, which have a different impedance. Definitely it have a different impedance. So our basic aim, if the ZL which is not equal to Z0, we are inserted the another impedance which have a characteristic impedance Z0 dash. Okay, so you can easily identify it over here, which have a length is lambda by 4. So you can see whatever the wire you are inserted, it have some material. Either you can use copper wire, either you can use aluminum wire, any wire you can use realized. And this wire have some input impedance is there. So you can see whatever the wire you are inserted, which have a lambda by 4 length, which have some input impedance, and this input impedance is mentioned with this particular equation, which is almost similar one. The difference is instead of the Z0, now it is Z0 dash. Clear? Instead of the Z0, now it is the Z0 dash. You can see that it is multiplied over here. This is only the changes. Okay. So according to this particular equation, they are find out what is the value of the Z0 dash we have to select. Clear? So finally, by solving this one, by just putting the length is lambda by 4, because if you see, there is a term which is the beta L. Beta is phase shift constant and L is the length of your wire. So how much wire you are taken? It's a lambda by 4. So you can see lambda by 4 is inserted over here, and according to this one, they find out the equation of this one. Zin is equal to Z0 dash whole square divided by ZL equal to Z0. And from this equation, they are simplified it, and you are getting the Z0 dash equal to under root of Z0 and ZL. Okay, because we don't know the impedance of this particular Z0 dash. You are choosing some wire, but this wire have some impedance. So which impedance you have to choose? It's a under root of Z0 and ZL. So suppose you are taken the Z0 is 100 and ZL is also 100. So it's a under root of 10,000. So whatever the answer of the under root of 10,000, you can select the Z0 dash. Yeah. So according to this one, you can know what is the impedance value you have to set over here using the quarter wave transformer. This is also we are utilizing using the similar method. They are taking the one example like a Z0 is 120 ohm and ZL is 75 ohm. So under root of the multiplication of these two parameters, you can set the new wire which have a length is lambda by 4 have a impedance must be equal to 95 ohm. If I set the 95, by default your line is matched at a particular frequency. Second one, the single stub matching. So you can see this is transmission line at a point A with a input side which is mentioned with a Y0. Okay, so we are adding one another wire which is some parallel connection, which have some parallel connection with your transmission line, and the location of this particular point is mentioned with a A. So this is called the single stub. We are inserted the one wire which is in parallel connection. Okay, but you can use either it have a open or it may be shorted. Now you can see the both the wire. One is transmission line and second is the stub. Stub is also the one wire. Both are in a parallel connection. So whenever you have a parallel connection, it will be easy to deal with admittance instead of the impedance. So that's why we are utilized over here, which is nothing but your admittance part. So you can see it's a not a mention with a Z0. Now they are mentioned it's a 1 upon Z0 which have a Y0. Y0 is the characteristic admittance. Same way, whatever the Y are inserted, it have also the admittance which is mentioned with a Y0. Okay. Now the question is, suppose you are knowing whenever you are using the single stub matching, you have a two unknown part. First unknown part is how much length of this particular wire you are inserted between your impedance and your ZL. Means location at which you are inserted the wire. This part is unknown. So this part is mentioned with your notation is L. On your screen you can see there's a L is mentioned. L is nothing but a length at which you are inserted the new wire, which is nothing but your stub. So it's a basically location at which you are inserted the wire. And second is how much length of this particular wire. It may be 1 meter, 0.2 meter, 0.3 meter. So this part is mentioned with a D. So if you have a single stub matching, you have to find out the two important part or two important parameter. One is location at which you can insert the stub, and the second is what is the length of this stub. Yeah. Now this technique have some disadvantage. Clear? This technique has some disadvantage. Whenever you are changing this ZL, it is not always necessary ZL is fixed. It may be possible some of the receiver have a ZL is different. So whenever you are changing the ZL, ZL means like a ZL you are setting is 100 ohm. Now you are set the ZL is 200 ohm. Okay. So for the 100 and for the 200, whatever the wire you are inserted for the matching, it's not utilized for the matching network. So it's basically what, whenever you are changing this load, it may be possible your location of the wire and the length of the wire is changed for the changing the value of the ZL. So each and every time you have to find out the new location and new length. This is the limitation of your single stub matching. I am not going to detail of how exactly they are find out, because this part is sufficient for you people. What is the single stub matching and what is the double stub matching. So you can see easily there is also another wire we are inserted, which is in short as well as the open. Using the Smith chart you can also find out, but you can only understand what is the single stub matching as well as the double stub matching. And for the double stub, you can see this is the single stub matching. Okay, double stub is not given over here, but you can see this is the example for the double stub matching. Yes, for the double stub we are inserted the two wire. Okay, we are inserted the two wire, but the question is this technique have an advantage. Whenever you are changing the load, we don't have to change the uh, whatever the two new stub you are inserted, means whatever the matching network you are inserted, we don't want to change it. So whatever the problem of the single stub matching, this problem can be solved by using the double stub matching. In a double stub, we are inserted the two wire. One is a one location, second is the another location. Okay, but the distance between these two wire is fixed. Either you can choose the lambda by 2, either you can choose lambda by 4, either you can choose lambda by 8, or either you can choose the lambda by 16. Yeah, distance between the two wire is fixed. Either you can choose the lambda by 2 up to the lambda by 16. Okay, so using the double stub matching you can also find out the impedance of the stub, whatever the impedance you are inserted, and what is the length of this particular wire. Okay. Now there is a one software you can utilize this software, Smith chart. I just give the overview how you can utilize this particular software. So just wait, I'm sharing the screen. All of you are getting the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can see in a right hand side there is a Smith chart is given. There are so many circles are there. Okay. This is the complete Smith chart. Why it is complete Smith chart? Normally you have a practice to see this kind of a chart. This is exactly the impedance chart. Clear? This is the impedance chart because all the complete circle are completed in a right hand side. And if I converted in a reverse form, means if I am to convert the admittance impedance to the admittance, so already you are knowing it have a 180-degree opposite. So if you have 180-degree opposite, you can find out the all the complete circle will be located in a left hand side. So you can see over here from this option you can select the Z and you can select the Y. This is called the admittance chart. Both the chart are useful to find out the different values. Both are the similar, and this is the complete chart you can see over here. Okay, so using this software you can easily find out the different values. Okay, you can also find out the VSWR, you can also find out the real part, imaginary part, impedance, and what is the value of this particular components you are inserted it. So I just give the overview how you can start with this. So you can just write down this parameter, it will be easy to understand. We have chosen the load impedance is 60 plus 40J. 60 plus 40J, it's a load impedance. Characteristic impedance is 50 ohm. Characteristic impedance is the 50 ohm. We are operating this transmission line at a 2 megahertz. Means operating frequency is 2 megahertz. And the length of the line it's 30 meter. And you can also find out the relation between the velocity of the light and the velocity of the medium. So U is equal to 0.6 C. This may be helpful to find out the epsilon R. So how we can solve this one? You can see ZL is 60 plus 40J and Z0 is 50. By obvious it's not match. So you require some kind of a circuitry which may be helpful to find out the matching. So you can start with this one. You can download this Smith chart V2 software. It's a freely available. So initially you have to choose this data point. On your screen you can see there is a one toolbox is given. I'm just rotating it. You can see it. Or you can start with this data point. You can insert the data from the mouse, you can insert the data from keyboard, you have a S11 or you have a S22. Right now don't worry about the S11, S22, we discuss about in the next subject. Okay, so in this case what we are interested to match the value by adding some parameter. So you can choose the keyboard. So you have an option, you can insert the impedance, you have an option, you have an admittance, you have an option, you can add the reflection coefficient. So right now you have a load impedance which have a value, it's a 60 plus 40. So you can insert 60 is the real value and it's a 40 is imaginary values. And you can also option have a polar form. It means you can choose the magnitude as well as the angle. But right now you have a complex number. So 60 plus 40, it's a Cartesian values. And you have magnitude and angle, then you can also insert the polar form. Choose the frequency is 2 megahertz. Yeah. And you have to press the OK. So when you are pressing it, you can see on a Smith chart, there is a point is located. Well, if I getting this point is mentioned with a one number.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this point is what? It's a normalized load impedance. They are just divide the ZL with a Z0. Whatever the value you are getting, it will be located over here. Directly they are locate this value. Clear? Now you have an option. I want to match with this because this is the normalized load impedance, and somehow to match with this one such a way that your VSWRs will be decreased and you will be generate the value between 1 and 2. So how you can start with this one? You can choose this different option, series as well as the shunt, inductor, capacitor, stub, open circuited line, short circuit line. There are so many options is given. Okay. So I'm just select the line serial. Just select the line serial. Okay, it means we are adding one length of the wire which is in series connection, which have a series connection. But right now to specified over here what is the impedance. So right now you can choose the characteristic impedance is how much. It's a 50 ohm. And what is epsilon r? Why they are given over here? The reason is whenever we are transmitting the any signals in a free space, it have a almost similar the velocity of the light. Means speed of this signal is almost similar to the velocity of the light. But whenever you are using the same signals we are transmitting in a bounded media, like consider any wire, coaxial cable, twisted pair, optical fiber, any wire you can choose, then the velocity is different. Speed of the signal is different. So this speed of the signals, it depends upon your epsilon r as well as the mu r. That's why you can see the parameter is given u is equal to 0.6 c. Means ratio of the velocity of the medium to the velocity of the light, it's 0.6. And according to this one, you can find out this value. Okay, I'm not discussing how exactly you can find out this. You have to just take the value of 1 upon under root of mu and epsilon, and 0.6 is given to you, and somehow to find out the epsilon r by just choosing the mu 0 is equal to 1. So if you find out the epsilon r, the value they are getting it's 2.77. This is only the important part. How they are calculating? The 0.6 is given. 0.6 is equal to 1 upon under root of mu epsilon. Mu is equal to mu 0 mu r. Epsilon is equal to epsilon 0 epsilon r. And by solving this one, you are getting the epsilon r is 2.77. So now to just press the OK. So you can see over here, there is a circle is automatically drawing over here, which is the constant tau circle. Yes or no? You can see on your Smith chart there is a constant tau circle is automatically there. Okay, and whenever I'm moving this mouse, you can easily find out what is the length of the wire you have to select such a way that the matching is possible. And in a left hand side, you can also see the length of the wire in terms of the wavelength. Now, how exactly you can find out the length? For that, you required to find out the length of the transmission line. This can be found out using the lambda, and the 30 meter is given. 30 meter is given, so you can easily find out the 30 divided by it's a 19. How you are getting the 90 meter? Lambda is equal to c by f. C is already given, frequency is given, so lambda you can find out it's almost I think 90 meter. You can also verify the answer. Lambda is equal to c by f. C is 3 into 10 raised to 8. Frequency is 2 into 10 raised to 6 megahertz. So we are getting the 90 meter. Okay, lambda is equal to 90 meter, and the length of the line is given the 30 meter. So 30 divided by it's a 90. So it's almost I think 0.33 lambda. Clear? So what exactly you have to do from this particular point? You have to move in a 0.33 lambda. So you can see whenever starting with this one, whenever starting with this particular one, initially value of this is 0. You can see it says 0.003 lambda, almost 0. Clear? Whenever if I move in this direction, then the length is slightly increasing, and you have to set it's how much? 0.33 lambda. So you can say it's a 0.33 lambda. Just select this point. Clear? So when you are selected this point, you can identify it over here the new impedance. On your screen, data point is there is one box is given 60 plus 40 j ohm, and the second box there in the same box there is a DPNR2 23 plus 0.566 ohm. This is the new impedance. It means whatever the line you are chosen, it must have a impedance is this much. 23 plus 0.56, which is nothing but an input impedance of your line. Clear? Now, how exactly we can find out the reflection coefficient over here? For that, initially you have to put the point over here. You can say I'm just locate the point over here, which is the starting point, it's 1. So on your screen, you can identify the reflection coefficient. It's mentioned with a R. R is what? It's a 0.3. And the angle is 52. So this is the real part as well as the magnitude. Sorry, magnitude as well as the angle. So this is the way you can find out the some matching network, and you can also find out the return loss, VSWR, Q. Q is the quality factor, R is your reflection coefficient in terms of the magnitude and angle, Y is your admittance, and Z is your impedance point. So when you are select this one, you can easily identify the reflection coefficient in terms of the magnitude as well as the angle. And you can easily identify the VSWR. It's a 2. So if your value of the VSWR between 1 and 2, then it is considered a perfect matching. So you may be getting the more idea. Just try to install this software and use some of the equation which is already discussed in class, and you can also verify the answer. Like you have a ZL and Z0, and you try to utilize this software, and you can also find out the reflection coefficient and input impedance, each and every parameter with this one. So any doubt in this one?
No, sir.
Okay. So I think most of the topic we are covered in this particular syllabus. So now there is a new topic we are discussing. So I think from tomorrow onwards, there is a no lecture from my side. Already I uploaded the 3 PPT, which is the starting of the vector calculus and vector algebra. You can also refer it. PPT is already uploaded in a team. There is a class material folder is there, and you can also verify it. Okay. So either you can use the book, which is already available in a team, or either you can use the PPT, then it's also fine. Okay. Most probably within this Saturday, I'll be uploaded the each and every PPT which we are discussing in your class. So you have any doubt related to this one? Any topic related to a particular subject, electromagnetic theory? So I think most probably you have a exam which may be objective type. I think all of you are knowing you have an objective type for your exam or maybe subjective type. I'm talking about the GTU exam.
So it's not decided until yet.
Okay, it's not decided. So I'll be share one question bank which may be helpful if it is the subjective type exam. Okay, I'll be also share
Yes,
some
sir.
of the objective question with you. Will be very soon. Will be uploaded. I think after the 5th May. Means after your Viva which and everything, I'll be uploaded both of things. Okay? You have any doubt related to any particular topic? You just send me any message in a chat box. Okay, and the last part is you have to upload the both the tutorial. How many tutorials is given to you? 2 or 3? How many tutorial is given to you? You have to
3, sir.
upload
Three tutorial.
2 or 3? 3. Okay. So each and every students, you have to upload your tutorial in a respective folder. I'll be make one folder in a file which is the tutorial. So you have to upload your tutorial with in a PDF form and give your enrollment number underscore the name. Okay, give the enrollment number underscore the name and make only one PDF, tutorial 1 and tutorial 2, and you can combine it and you can make a one PDF and just give the only one file from one student. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so each and every students you have to submit the tutorial 1, 2 and 3. It is compulsory you have to submit it before the next Thursday, before the 6th May. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think this is the end of your this syllabus. You have any doubt to any topic or any example, you can directly contact me through the team. So taken your attendance. Okay, your lecture is now finished. So all the best for final your mates GTU exam.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.